ya Parliament Right Honorable Joel Senyonyi ne timu yonna gyakoze nayo okufulumya budget yaffe eno etali nnene nnyo naye ate ng'efokasinga ku bintu ebiyamba abantu ng'egoberera n'omulamwa ogusitula eddembe ly'abantu si kweyagala bweyagazi naye n'okuenjoyinga oba okunyumirwa oba okweyagalira mu bintu ebyo bye basaanira okweyagaliramu mu mateeka. Naye okusingira ddala obubaka bwange wakati mu kubeebaza olw'okuvaayo ne bajeti eno ennungi n'ebirowoozo ebirungi mbajjukiza abakulembeze baffe nti ebirowoozo ebirungi tujja nabyo bibadde nga bireetebwa naye ekizibu kye tulina nti ebirowoozo bikoma kuleetebwa. Ekizibu ekisinga ekya Uganda yenna kyemalira Yoweri Museveni nga ye sente z'eggwanga zonna azimalira mu kwekumira mu buyinza kugulirira abakulembeze bamwetoolodde na kunyigiriza abantu. So ekizibu kye tulina okusooka okugyawo yenna kyemalira Museveni, then tubeere n'eddembe ebisaasanya sente za Uganda si mu kwejalabya naye mu kutereeza ebyo ebisaana okutaasa abantu ng'amasomero ng'amalwaliro n'ebirala bifaanana bwe bityo.
Sobadde owulira mu Parliament naddala ensonga za commissioner wa mutuuseewa?
Well, saagala ensonga eno nene gireducinga ku muntu omu. Ensonga gye mbadde sikonyeeko ensonga y'enguzi ekutte ejjembe newankubadde omu ku ffe naye yalisanga mu nsonga eyo naye abamukulira bye basinga okulya enguzi okugeza sipiika waffe wano, sipiika wa Parliament ya Uganda ye Nakinku mu kulya enguzi. Era ekyo kyetaaga okwogerwako, ensi n'ekimanya n'ensi nemukolinga out kubanga sente ezoonoonebwa Parliament eno zisobola okukyusa obulamu bw'abantu bungi nnyo. So obuli bw'enguzi ye kansa ayonoonye Uganda kati kyafuuka institutional. Enguzi yafuuka ngeri yakwekumira mu buyinza na ngeri yakukakanya abavuganya gavumenti. So enguzi ng'ekulemberwa Anita Amongo sipiika wa wano nga mulimu si bokka ba NRM naye nga mulimu n'abaffe kizibu nnyo era nakyo tulina okirwanyisa ate tujja kirwanyisa. Ffe nga NUP tujja kukozesa ebikolwa si bigambo bwe tulina obuyinza wonna okulwanyisa enguzi naye twagala na buli kitongole kya gavumenti kikozesa obuyinza obwo okulwanyisa enguzi kuba enguzi yesisigiriza Uganda emabega. Ensonga y'obutalotalo mmwe bannamawulire mmwe abagiteekawo tewali lutalo lwonna okuleka ng'oŋŋamba nti okola ekituufu luba lutalo. Okola ekituufu we luba lutalo then tuli mu lutalo era tulina okubeera mu lutalo nga tulwanyisa enguzi nga tulwanyisa obulyake nga tulwanyisa obwannakyemalira luba lutalo. So si mu kibiina kyaffe, nze ndowooza mu kibiina kyaffe twandibadde nga ekyokulabirako buli muntu kabeere nga sipiika wa Parliament yalidde enguzi, kabeere nga minisita n'akangavulwa nga bwe kirina okubeera. Ffe nga NUP tubawa kyakulabirako, tuli option era mu Uganda empya bwe tubikola bwe tujja obikola nga tumaze okugoba nakyemalira. Nnyo kukendeeza kwogera kwange kukukakanya ate kussa ku bammemba bange benkulembera mu kibiina. Njagala nnyo njogere ku nsonga ezigasa eggwanga lyonna. Kati bajeti eno si ya NUP yokka wabula ereflectinga ekifaananyi kya opposition yonna. So saagala ensonga za NUP ate nziyingize mu bibiina ebirala, njagala njogere ku kintu ekigasa eggwanga lyonna si kibiina kyokka nga NUP. Webale nnyo webale. Kyannaku nnyo okubeera mu nsi nga tulowooza nti bwabaawo obumenyi bw'amateeka olina kuteesa n'amenya amateeka. Bwabaawo obumenyi bw'amateeka nga waliwo evidence oba obujulizi obumulumika then amateeka gakole. Bwe mugamba nti omuntu bw'aba amenya etteeka bateesaganye naye then tugyewo amateeka bibeere byakuteesaganya. Baganda baffe abaasibwa mu makomera tebalina musango n'olw'ensonga eyo balina okuyimbulwa embagirawo awatali kakwakulizo kuba tebalina musango. Bwe baba balina omusango baleetebwe mu kooti bavunaanibwe omusango gubake muvi oba bagusinge bejjerere. So si kuteesaganya nabo. Eyo enkola yakiyeekera tetukkiriziganya nayo, tukkiriziganya mu nfuga ey'amateeka era bwe tunatwala obuyinza yenfuga gye tujja okutambulirako. It is unfortunate that we live in a country where the leadership thinks or the rulership thinks that when somebody commits a crime you have to negotiate their release. If somebody commits a crime, then let the evidence be presented, let them be presented in a competent court and let them be either convicted or acquitted. We are not going to negotiate our rights. We believe in the rule of law. If there is the rule of law in Uganda, let it work if the courts function in Uganda, let them work. Our brothers and sisters who are in prison for the longest time, the political prisoners, are innocent, and we continue to demand their unconditional release. We are not going to negotiate, because if you ask us to negotiate, what do you want us to give in exchange for our freedom? Bobo yagala tuteesaganye n'omuntu ng'akutte baganda baffe nga tebalina musango, oyagala ffe tumuwe ki atuwe baganda baffe, kubanga kibamba sibira dembe lyabwe, ate dembe lyabwe eryo si beetegefu ddiwaayo, ne bwe banaateebwa bajja kusigala nga bayanira eddembe lyabwe. So siri akuteesaako, naye lyabwe bange kuba constitution erigarantinga. Well, everything we do it in the open. We are a transparent political party, and what happened was in public. The information came from the public domain, and we dealt with it as our morality levels permit.
But the speaker responded later.
The speaker is a criminal herself. The speaker is a criminal, so we don't really have time to exchange with criminals. Thank you very much.
At this moment, your party, won't this affect the potential alternative policies?
The so-called internal conflicts are a creation of the media. As you have seen, so many TVs have been out, on rampage, trying to create a non-existent impression that we have conflicts. No, they're not conflicts. The only conflict we have is with criminality, is with corruption, and we deal with corruption as people that know that corruption is a cancer that has bedeviled our country. Thank you very much.
Maybe lastly, doesn't know how to help you. What's your take on this statement?
Well, we major on majors and minor on minors. Thank you.
Can you take a picture with
kumwebaza olw'okutufisizaayo akadde n'ajjako mu paalamenti nga tusoma gye bayita alternative budget olunaku lwaleero, era ebigambo bya pulezidenti bye bibeerawo nga budget tenaba kusoma n'asooka n'atuyitiramu, naye abadde ayogera nti bwe tuba tusomanga budget zino batuzikola tulina okulaba nga ziri practically on the ground, nti osoma figures naye figures nga ziri related ne ku service deliveries, kubanga budget eba meant to offer services to the people. Kati n'agamba nti tusobola okuba n'okwogera oluzungu olungi ennyo ne twogera figures ennungi, naye kiri eri munnansi oba ordinary citizens oba omuntu wa bulijjo okulaba nti ebyo byennyini bye twogera mu budget babirabako, era n'agamba ebyo tusobola okubiraba nga tulina good governance, oba obukulembeze obuteeka ekitiibwa mu mbalirira, obukulembeze obutakkiririza mu kulyanguzi, obukulembeze obuwalking at the talk, nti omukulembeze bw'agamba nti zino sente tuzitadde mu ministry ya health ddala nga zibeerayo, tuzitadde ministry y'ebyenguudo ddala nga zibeerayo. So njagala kumwebazaako nti atutasikinze naddala ffe ng'abakulembeze tulina okubeera endabirwamu eri bannayuganda bonna, kubanga endabirwamu eriflecting ekyo society kyeba erina okulaba. So twagala okumwebaza, n'ate okusinga byonna speech gyatuteddemu ng'atukubiriza nti tulina okwegendereza ennyo, especially as regards to financial handlings. Abalina dockets ezitunuulira ebyensimbi si ffeffeka ne bannaffe abalala mu ggwanga balina okutunuulira ennyo, do we use the money for the intended purposes? Kubanga bwe batuwa sente ezifaanana zitya ne tukola budget ng'eshininga naye nga intended purposes are not fulfilled, the ordinary citizens will always be in having bigger gaps in terms of services. So kakati ekyo kye mwebazaako, n'ekirala okulaba nti no atuzaamu amaanyi nti we are not yet there but we shall be there very soon. Nga owa shadow minister w'ebyettaka tubadde mu alternative budget yaffe twataddemu okuteekamu zino sente ezicompensatinga abantu b'ebyettaka, kubanga gavumenti ebadde ng'egamba tugenda kusasuliranga ettaka eririko conflicts oba eririko okusuka omugwa, naye tubadde nga tulaba bakola hand picking of a selected few individuals abali related to power center nga bokka beba compensating ku sente. So land fund twagitaddemu some good billions mu alternative budget yaffe okulaba nti nazo zibeeramu mu budget, tusobole okulaba nti waliwo ebitundu ebimu nga ba landlords bali willing oku accepting a compensation from government through land fund, basobole okuleka abantu okuba nti nabo beetaayiza ku bibanja byabo. Ekyokubiri mutaddemu nti gavumenti okubanga eriyirira weeyisa infrastructure zaayo on time. For example, waliwo we bayisa enguudo naye abantu ne babanja sente zaabwe nga baba valuinga buli kimu kyonna nga kyaggwa, abantu ne babanja sente zaabwe for years and years. Kakati twabagambye mu zino sente ezirimu ezigenda okusasula amabanja domestic debts zirina okubeera nga nazo ziri ku mwanjo nnyo okuba nti no n'abantu baba bafune sente zaabwe mu budde. Kakati oba ofuuka omunamawulire oba afuuka kiiso kya mbuzi oba kiiso kya nte oba kiiso kya goonya, the issue is do you do your work? Bw'oba okoze omulimu gwo, they will be there to notice what you have done. Kati president ogamba nti bannamawulire bakikumamu, kikitegeeza nti bannamawulire bonna, because not all media houses after that. Waliwo bannamawulire abalipotinga strictly ate waliwo bannamawulire kati abakozesebwa state okulaba nti ebayambako okwamplifyinga minor issues especially eziri mu nuupu, kuba kati owa nuupu ne bwakolola eyo becoming headlines mu some media houses nti owa nuupu yakolodde, owa nuupu ne bwawegoba emisinde ku kkubo efuuka headlines. So kali president kyabadde agezaako okugamba, yes there are some internal minor issues, but such internal minor issues will be handled or can be handled peacefully without any exaggeration or amplification by the media. Era ffe tukirowoozesaako ng'ekyo kyayogedde nti obumulumulu weebuli, naye ng'era abo ababadde baleeta obumulumulu nabo ensi egenda ebakkakkanya, kubanga wabaddengawo ebikwatagana ku accountabilities. We are in public offices, we bakubuza accountability. You answer accordingly. If you don't have an answer, you become humble and wait for the repercussions other than okufuluma ebweru ne tuba nga twongera okulwanagana. So ekyakizemu bulungi, he said the party majors in majors and minors in minors. As a shadow minister, we have put in a budget the compensation fund. There are several projects which are run by government, but the beneficiaries of such projects have not been compensated on their land. Like for example, there are areas where roads have been, of course, earmarked. There are areas where the rail is going to pass, the grand rail system. Of course, they had already indicated that they are supposed to be paid on time, but up now they have not yet been paid. So we are putting a fund, the land compensation fund. We understand that there is a group of landlords which is supposed to be compensated. They are still waiting for their compensation, because previously government has been selectively handling some few individuals under compensation. We want all regions of the country to be considered. If you are saying that you have a land compensation fund, let it work across the country, but not just select a few individuals who are nearer to the power centers and you compensate them. Then secondly, as a shadow minister, we know that there are several gaps under Ministry of Lands. Some of such gaps need huge funding. We have had several dockets being funded. What about the lands ministry? So as an alternative minister, I think I have already indicated in our alternative policies that such funding is supposed to be prioritized under the national budget.
Both public and private. I'll give you an example. The title First Lady means someone's wife, isn't it? In fact, it's not even provided for in the government hierarchy. But next financial year, we are going to pay someone. His name is Waiswa Charles Baker. His job is executive assistant First Lady. So for Museveni's wife to be Museveni's wife, we must recruit staff for her, including an executive. I don't know really how he's going to engage with two adults who are married. But his job, and he's paid 4 million. Because how can you be paid to be an executive secretary to an existing office? The office of First Lady does not exist. But we are recruiting someone to facilitate that office that does not exist on the government's structure. And the name is there. You can look at the policy statement of the presidency. We also have a special presidential assistant on household affairs, Butagira Penelope. This person is paid 8 million per month to help these two adults on their household affairs. And that brings the entire list of people who work at Museveni's residence to 1,000. As you earlier interacted with it, he has 51 cleaners, 62 cooks, he has 80 gardeners, 29 housekeepers, 10 Bobi and roundary attendants, 100 private secretaries, 14 room attendants, 22 presidential assistants at the residence, 51 waitresses and waiters, and 14 presidential advisors. So these are people who are supposed to be helping our president and his wife, because State House is provided for under the Presidential Emoluments and Benefits Act as a residence of the president.
Okay, well, we'll probably try and locate them at some point. I want to appreciate you again, colleagues, for that. We appreciate them. I want to also again welcome the Honorable Dr. Miriam Matembe, who has just joined us. She's got numerous commitments, but she has come nonetheless. As I end, I'll invite her to say hello to us in about 2 minutes or so. As Honorable Helen has been saying, we do produce this work. Let's make good use of it. It will even help us to keep shaping the next ones. These are documents that we avail so we can interact with them. Our alternative budget priorities were captured from our alternative ministerial policy statements, which were laid in Parliament, and they were brought to your committees. I hope you have been attending these sectoral committees and interacting with these documents and so on. But again, when you get the documents, please find time and read so you can excogitate over them, and we see how we keep improving them so that the next time we have even better watertight documents. Areas, we did unveil it a couple of weeks back, and we were saying this is what we want to be focusing on: critical issues, corruption, poor service delivery, human rights abuses, etc., etc. that we have availed to us. Herein is our budget speech. It's a summarized version of our breakdown of the alternatives, what we think needs to be focused on. So we have captured it in this document. And finally, this big, fairly big, not too big, booklet here is what has our alternative budget priorities for the different dockets. So you'll find herein what we are proposing should go to healthcare, what we are proposing should go to education, to infrastructure, to all the service delivery areas. And we are showing you where the money can be gotten from. Honorable Semunju has very ably, and I want to appreciate him, made his presentation to show the wastages, to show the corruption and so on. So when we are telling government that you are allocating so little to healthcare, we are telling them this is what ought to be allocated there. This is what ought to be allocated to the different dockets. And we are also pointing out where the money can come from. Because normally, when we say allocate more to healthcare, allocate more to education, infrastructure, and so on, they say, but you see, we are a poor country. We don't have the resources. So we in the opposition are saying, we do have the resources. Let's cut down on the wastage that we have been showing you. Let's stamp out corruption. We shall have the resources to deliver services to the people of Uganda. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I take the pleasure to launch this booklet, which has got our alternative budget priorities. Our hope is that, yes, the good, amazing ideas in this booklet will be picked for the benefit of the people of Uganda. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. First of all, I'm so sorry. I must apologize. You see, we senior citizens, we have so much, and forgetfulness is part of it. So I remember Friday, a lady rang me over Thursday or something and said, "We want you." I said, "Hey, what is it? Budget?" "Oh, okay, I'll see." Now, since morning, that was off the head. And then around 11, he said, "Where are you?" I said, "My goodness, who are you?" He told me. He said, "When are you finishing?" He said, 2 o'clock. I said, "Okay, let me at least appear." So I'm sorry that I came late, and so I have not heard this whole thing. But I want to say that I was very happy to have been invited to come here to listen to what you are saying. You know, many people, me, whichever party or whoever calls me, I go. I'm a senior citizen and I'm a Ugandan. It does not matter where or what. I'm a Ugandan. As a senior citizen, I'm interested in Uganda as a nation and Ugandan people. So when Inup calls me, I come, and I'm very happy to be there. I wish I was here to listen to everything and then say, "Oh, so this is the alternative view." I want to thank you so much. Is that there is this government to serve the nation, and there is the opposition to give alternative view and to be watching oversight and see next year or the other year, they may be now the government while the other one is in opposition. So opposition and government are supposed to work together, all driven by service to their nation and to their people whom they serve. So for me, I love now what you are doing, that the budget statement was, was given, I think, and then you are saying for us, if it were we, this is how we would go about it. And one of the reasons why I'm so happy about this is that it disputes all these general Ugandans who say this opposition, it has no program, it has no plan. That's how they talk about opposition. And usually I say, but look here, do you think a group of people can sit there and say we want to lead this nation without this manifesto? And I'm sure every party has a manifesto, but because people don't read them, they think that when you come up to lead, you have nothing to offer, just because we generally don't read. And I'm even wondering how many are even listening to the alternative budget. But for me, what I want to tell you is, as a leader who was elected leader, but who continues to be a leader, because leadership does not end, and leadership is about service, and it does not depend on any position you hold, but it depends on the passion you have for your vision for the people you are leading. So whether 19 years ago I have no position which I hold, but I'm still a leader in this country. And so I'm so happy.
And so on, we are thinking, no, we can actually allot more there. And where can we get the money from? We have also detailed. Deal with corruption. You'll have some money available. Deal with the wastages that we have detailed there, all right? That way, you will be able to deliver services to the people of Uganda, as opposed to digging deeper in the pockets of the people of Uganda. They are crying about heavy taxes and so on. The traders have closed shop today in protest. Once we put to proper use what we have available, once you fight corruption and deal with wastages, you won't have to keep bothering Ugandans to dig deeper in their already burdened pockets.
It is the authority insurance budget.
Yeah, like I've said, the priorities, we are looking at healthcare. We think a lot more needs to be invested therein.
And that money is available, like I've said. Education, infrastructure. You see, the challenge that we do have, as I have said, is Ugandans keep paying taxes, but they see little when it comes to service delivery. When they are sick, they'll not go to a government hospital because there's no money there. So the little they have, they'll go to a private clinic. So that's money you're taking away from them, which they would access in the public. Same thing. So we have made allocations. Because they want to take advantage of the other 3% that can see access outside of parliamentary approval, then they come and inform us later on. But realistically, if we put to proper use this 43 trillion, because we are saying that's what is realistic. When you look at the debt burden that we do have, money that we are meant to remit, when you look at what we do collect, so we are saying this is what's available. Don't lie to Ugandans to make it seem like we have plenty of money. No, we don't. Let's utilize this that we have that is realistic. So ours is the realistic budget. Yeah.
It is aligned to human.
I think we have got to combat corruption. We've got to make sure we efficiently avail services to the people of Uganda under the ambit of human rights. Because you see, human rights, number one, yes, the brutality has got to stop and all of that. But we're also saying it is a right to the people of Uganda to access healthcare. Avail it. It is a right to the people of Uganda to access proper education, okay? All of these rights have got to be taken care of. And that's why they pay taxes, so that you can be able to meet their needs. So it is an all-encompassing human rights approach.
Thank you very much.
Presenting alternative budget. Biki bye mutaddeko essira era biki bye mwagala okulaba mu gavumenti ekyusaamu.
So olwaleero twanjudde eri eggwanga embalirira eyaffe nga bwe tugiraba kye tuyise alternative budget, kubanga mu mwezi gw'omukaaga Oweekitiibwa Matiya Kasaija ajja kwanjula eri eggwanga budget eya gavumenti, naye nga tetunatuukawo. Awo ffe twagadde tubalage nti kino kye kituufu ekyokukola. Abantu bangi bagenda ne bagamba nti opposition b'opposinzi tebalina alternatives. Kati ffe twagala kulaga nti nedda si bwe kiri, tetuwakanya buwakanya, naye tulina alternatives ze twanjudde eri eggwanga. Era mu alternatives zaffe ezo tugamba nti okusookera ddala tulwanyise enguzi. Bwe tunalwanyisa enguzi, kuba buli mwaka tufiirwa obutabalika 10 mu nguzi. Sente empitirivu ezoonoonebwa ku bintu ntwawe bitategeerekeka bye tulina okukendeeza. Bwe tunaakola ekyo tujja kubanga tulina sente eziwerako okuweereza bannayuganda. Kati ffe tugamba nti tulina okwongera sente mu byobulamu, tulina okwongera sente mu byenjigiriza, tulina okwongera sente mu infrastructure, enguudo embi mu Kampala n'ebirala, service delivery generally. Sente ezo batera otubuuza, naye kakati mwe mwagala twongere wano sente naye tewali sente. Ffe tubalaze nti sente weeziri. Tulwanyise enguzi, tulwanyise sente ezoonoonebwa mu ngeri etategeerekeka. Awo tetujja na kusumbuwa nnyo bannayuganda kwongeza misolo, kubanga gavumenti eyagala kwongeza misolo. Ebintu bino tubiwakanya mu palamenti eyo, naye olwokuba tetulina namba ziwera kyovudula babiyisaawo nga bwe baagala. Naye ffe tugamba nti nedda, bannayuganda already tubanyigiriza nnyo ku nsonga y'omusolo. Ate kakati bw'obwongerako omusolo omulala, mwagala bizinesi zaabwe zigwe. Olwaleero abasuubuzi mu kibuga bagaddewo amaduuka gaabwe bali mu kwekalakaasa mu mirembe, era ekyo ffe tukiwaligira. Tuze tugamba bannayuganda banne mutwegatteko ku nsonga zino, temuzitulekera ffeffeka abali mu palamenti, kubanga ku sayidi gye tuliko gye nkulembera tuli batono. Kyovudde olaba ensonga zino tuzoogerako naye zisikalanga minority reports, bannaffe tebaagala kuziyisa. Kakati nammwe amaloboozi gammwe galina okuvaayo ku nsonga y'omusolo. Ffe tugamba nti bw'olwanyisa enguzi tujja kuba ne sente eziwera ezisobola okukola ku nsonga z'abannayuganda. Bw'olwanyisa sente ezoonoonebwa mu ngeri etategeerekeka, awo tojja kusumbuwa nnyo bannayuganda ne weeyongera okubanyigiriza. Already basasula omusolo omuyitirivu ate nga tebalaba service delivery. Bwe bagenda mu malwaliro teri ddagala, abaana baabwe tebasobola batwala mu masomero ga gavumenti kubanga teri kiriyo. Kakati already basasula sente empitirivu, services tezivaayo, beeyongera okukozesa sente zaabwe okwetuusaako services. Ate kakati bw'ogamba nti ogenda bongerako omusolo, nedda kikyamu. Buli ggwanga lirina okuŋŋaanya emisolo, naye tugamba nti ate kiyitiridde, kisusse we kirina okukoma. Ate nga tulaga nti yes, nga toyongeza musolo, tukulaga sente wawe zirina okuva. Kasita olwanyisa enguzi, kasita okendeeza ku kwonoona sente y'omuwa omusolo, kasita olaga nti bannayuganda gwe mulamwa sente zijja kubanga weziri ziri available tetujja kutulugunya nnyo bannayuganda kuba paatiikako misolo emiyitirivu nga bwe nkugambye nti ekyokutandikibwako okufuna sente okukola bino bitugambye nti twongeze bajeti ey'ebyobulamu ey'ebyenjigiriza service delivery n'ebirala sente zisooka ozijja wali wezibbibwa mu nguzi kubanga bwe ngambye nti buli mwaka tufiirwa obutabalika 10 trillion shillings sente ezo zaalikoze ebintu biyitirivu nnyo naye tetuzirina kubanga zibbibwa kati lwanyisa enguzi mu byaddala si kujogerako bwogezi mwami Museveni agenda n'ayogera ku nguzi n'atabuka naki naye ate bw'amalizaawo ali mukuwolereza ababbi ba ssente y'omuwomusolo awo nomuleke temukwatako IGG abantu bano bagendeko mpola kubanga at least sente baziteeka wano bona obalemerako sente zebabbye bajja zitwala ebweru kakati kikyogamba exactly so awo waliwo sente empitirivu zisobola okutaasanga eggwanga ne tuzeeyambisa ekyokubiri sente empitirivu ezoonoonebwa bw'otunuulira presidential advisors abayitirivu bakola ki kubanga abasinga ku bo singa emyaka 5 giwera nga tebamusinkanye afunye chance namusinkana ate mwami Museveni yamuadvisinga so kati ebifo bino babiteekawo nti kakati oli agudde ku bwa MP ne bamuteeka eno bamuje kuba minisita ne bamuteeka eno tebalina kyamaanyi kye bakola naye basigala bafuna omusaala kikyamu otonoonawo sente empitirivu n'otunulira aba RDC abayitirivu deputy RDC bonna babawadde amamotoka galina okusavisingibwa baminisita bayitirivu n'otunulira sente mwami Museveni zaakozesa nedda kisusse munayi ne palamenti eno gye tutuulamu nene ge mazima twogere amazima ate kakati tuwulira baagala okuleeta proposals okwongeza districts bw'oyongeza districts ne constituencies nezeeyongera naki nedda tukendeze ku appetite yaffe y'okuteekawo zi districts zino n'okwegamba palamenti okugigeza ekitasaanidde kubanga ne districts zino ezimu ezatondebwawo empya tezirina na sente ziziddukanya districts ezimu empya tezirina na bitebe byazo headquarters kakati oba oteekawo zaaki bannayuganda kye baagala service delivery zimba amalwaliro zimba amasomero kola ku nguudo bye bibaluma so si kubawuddisa nti kakati bwe tunaabawa district service delivery ejja kujja nedda ebyo bya bulimba songa eyo kanjogere mu luzungu we have a challenge of wastage which once dealt with in addition to dealing with corruption once we deal with wastage we'll have money available to deal with the service delivery that we're talking about the incremental allocations to healthcare education infrastructure and so on and so forth. The wastage comes in various forms. One, you look at, for example, how many presidential advisors that we have in this country, plenty of them. They earn a huge salary, but what exactly are they doing? Even the person they're meant to advise, they never meet him. The few that get a chance to meet him, he's the one who advises them. But they have a huge budget there available to them. And you see, these are positions that have been created for those that have failed politically. Somebody has failed to become a member of parliament, they are put there. Somebody has been dropped from cabinet, they are put there. Just really to keep them occupied. But there's nothing serious that they are doing. Look at the plenty of RDCs that we have and their deputies. They are being given cars that are maintained, that are serviced, a driver, and so on and so forth. What exactly do they do? Sometimes they do work done by LC5 chairpersons, by DPCs, duplication. Yeah. When you see the many districts that we have in this country, leading to parliament becoming bigger than it should be. Truth is, we are an already big parliament. And we hear they want to bring proposals to create more districts. That will mean increasing now the wage bill of government officials. It is wrong. Let's reduce our appetite for making every village a district. Because what exactly do the people of Uganda want? What they want is services, is hospitals that are equipped, is schools. Deal with that. Instead of hoodwinking them to tell them, you see, once you create another district, services will come closer to you. That's not true. And that's why for some of these districts that have been created, some don't even have headquarters. Some are struggling to operate because there's no money to enable them to operate. So why do we create them? So let's not hoodwink Ugandans. Let's deliver services. That's what they're interested in. But some politicians make them believe that, you see, once you have a district, you'll have services closer to you. The politician is saying that because they want to stand for MP, for LC5 chairperson, and that kind of thing. But what the people of Uganda want is services. That's what we should be focusing on as a country.
On debt servicing and 7.6 trillion on interest payment, which means 38% of the money that we collected and borrow every year goes to service debt. And that's why you don't have money for to deal with critical issues in health, in education, in roads and other sectors. But also the country needs to note that we now have about 12 trillion shilling that we have borrowed, but we have not utilized it. And that money is for different sectors, agriculture, health, education, etc. So this government borrows money and it doesn't use it. Look, we've borrowed up to about 900 billion shilling to do or to begin work on the Kampala-Jinja Expressway. But government hasn't compensated the whole stretch where the road will pass. And that's why, because you see what lenders do on the banks, that when they give you money, they begin counting on the day called the commitment date. The day they give you the money, they begin, and you begin paying commitment fees. In this budget, we are paying 434 billion shilling in commitment fees on money that is unutilized. When you ask finance, they tell you project planning, procurement delays. Sometimes they have not been able to pay for compensation for passage. Why do you borrow? Why don't you first design a road, compensate people, and when all the designs are ready, then you go and borrow? Because how can a poor country pay 434 billion shilling in commitment fees on money that you are not using? It is just there idle. 12 trillion. Just imagine if that money has been put in the economy, what it will do. Budget yaffe olwaleero tusaba nnyo gavumenti eno etawulira ku mulundi guno ewulire. Erimu ebintu ebikulu, ekisooka amabanja. Uganda singa muntu kati singa asula wansi wa kitanda ng'alinze kumukwata, buli mwaka kati tusaasaanya trillion 20. Budget ya trillion ziyita 5.8 nga baziyise, naye 20 ga kusasula mabanja. Ate amabanja ago galiko amagoba ga trillion 7 ne billion 6. Ate nga amabanja ago tugasasula nsi za bweru ze zikulaakulana. China yokka buli lunaku ne tujjako nga billion 2 buli lunaku zetwala mu interest ne mu sente zetuzisasula. Ne banka ze bagamba mu bewola mu banka za Uganda nezo si za Uganda. Tulina banka 25 kuliko nnyo za Uganda. Zino zina banka ze bewola mu Stanbic. So ebyenfuna bya Uganda byongera kusereba kubanga ababitambuza si bannansi. MTN, Airtel, Stanbic, bonna buli ebbula ly'emirimu livudde ku butundu 8.8 ne lituuka ku 12. So buli bantu 10 boyitako 12 bakeera kubungera tebalina mulimu gwe bakola. Essente zaaliyambiddwa okuteeka mu byenfuna ne zikulaakulana ziri mu mikono gy'abantu b'ebweru bazizza bweru genda kulaakulanya nsi zaabwe. Kino batugaa gavumenti mu bajeti eno nti ku mulundi guno wulirako tukendeze ku mabanja. Ati twewola sente nga tugenda zikozesa. Ekyokubiri tujjemu ebintu ebiri mu budget ebyokwejalabya. N'osanga mu budget mulimu billion 162 za kugaba. Museveni alinako 137, Nabbanja alinako billion 3.5, Speaker alinako 2.8, Deputy Speaker. Mu nsawo ze balina mu sente zagenda nga bagabagabako. Mu nsi enjavu abantu 20% nga baavu nga mulinawo sente n'ez'okugaba. Bw'otunuulira emmotoka, omwaka ogujja gavumenti etadde sente mu budget billion 708 za kugula amamotoka mapya, kukanika amamotoka na kunywako mafuta. Buli woyita ku bakungu ba gavumenti awo ababeera mwezi emmotoka, manya nti abo bali ku billion 708 ze bali mu kuvuga n'okunywako amafuta. Ne mulimu n'abantu kati ennaku zino district lunaku bakola district nosanga RDC nti weerubaga. Ekikuguza kipikapu kino ekinene hard body n'ogamba nti ekiwadde RDC weerubaga oba ow'enakawa oba ow'ekireka kiki alagawa wakiri w'ekaramoja. Abo tubagulire obugaali oba tubagulire pikipiki buno obutini sisi 5 akasobola omutwala ku office. In fact bano bapangiza office nga mwasula ng'ensi endala bwe zikola mu office era wasula wennyini. Bwogenda nosanga sente z'okupangisa amayumba tuli mu billion 10 n'okusoba kupangisaako mayumba rent betupangisiza ne Museveni gwe twazimbira amaka State House ate ne tumpangisizayo bu office obulala gy'amanyi byakolerayo. So mu budget mulimu sente nnyingi nga gavumenti bwebasiya mutima mubi n'ezitunuulira zisobola okujja n'ezituzisaasanya ku bintu ebitutawaanya ne twekera ne tukendeeza okwewola.
Excellency, the Honorable Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, the leader of the opposition, the Honorable Joel Osenyonyi, the Honorable Ministers of the alternative government, colleagues, members of parliament, our technical wing, distinguished guests, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen. My role is very simple and we are hard pressed by time. Your Excellency, allow me to present to you men and women who constitute the shadow cabinet. The men and the women I'm about to present to you are the epitome of dedication in the discharge of our core mandate of keeping the government that is in power in check. These men and women, Your Excellency, are the guardians of our country.
The profound trust bestowed upon us by the people of Uganda. Their confidence in our abilities as their elected representatives is not just a privilege, but also a solemn responsibility. We understand the weight of this trust that has been bestowed upon us by the people of Uganda, and it ought to serve as the guiding force propelling us forward in our unwavering commitment to ensure efficient service delivery by the government to the citizenry, accountability, and our steadfast stance against corruption and misuse of taxpayers' money. Honorable colleagues and esteemed guests, corruption remains a pervasive and insidious problem that undermines the fabric of our society. It erodes public trust in government institutions. It diverts resources away from essential services and perpetuates inequality and injustice. As leaders, it is our duty to confront corruption head-on and ensure that public resources are used for the benefit of all, not for the enrichment of a few. Ladies and gentlemen, on an annual basis, we lose over 10 trillion shillings to corruption, according to figures from the Inspectorate of Government. Think about how many hospitals this money could build and equip, roads, schools, or other critical service delivery areas. There's no way this country's resource envelope will benefit the citizenry for as long as a huge portion of this money is lost to thieves at different levels in government. It is no wonder that government is proposing to increase taxes on certain commodities and services, which are going to further burden the population that is already not seeing adequate service, that access to basic necessities such as clean water, healthcare, education, housing, shelter, and social protection is not a luxury, but an inalienable right bestowed upon every citizen of Uganda. By prioritizing the allocation of resources towards these fundamental needs, we not only empower communities to withstand the trials they face, but also reaffirm our dedication to upholding the dignity of each and every Ugandan citizen. A review of the government's budgeting process has consistently
to the Right Honourable Leader of our Parliamentary Front, Honourable Members of Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me also add my voice to send heartfelt condolences to friends, families and comrades of Sarah Eperu, and I continue to pray that the Almighty rests her gentle soul in eternal peace. It is an honor today for me to share my thoughts with you this morning as we launch our alternative budget policies for the new financial year. The theme for today is a reflection of our vision for a new Uganda, a Uganda whose resources are exploited for the benefit of the citizens and not for the benefit of a select few individuals. a Uganda that protects and promotes dignity and basic freedoms and rights for every citizen, a Uganda that puts interests of the people, the citizens, at the forefront of public policy. The alternative budget priorities presented today recognize the plight of the ordinary Ugandan, whom the leaders derive their mandate from, and also paint a clear picture of what we intend to do in order to make Uganda a country that works for every Ugandan. Ladies and gentlemen, Ugandans deserve better health care, they deserve better education, and they deserve better infrastructure in order for them to live their full potential and benefit and enjoy all their fundamental rights. Because education is essential for producing skilled workers, a workforce that will transform communities, it's therefore important that our children study subjects and courses that are relevant to their passion and natural abilities. We cannot achieve without changing, we can't achieve this without changing or in fact overhauling our entire education system and realigning our education.
Members, I've held you here because we are going to have a group photo with the leadership. I'm going to request the high table, the honorable leader of the opposition and the president.
Our chief guest and the leader of opposition are very much welcome to this our budget day presentation. We're going to have the national anthems. Before we sit, let's have the
entire life, because I am 50, I don't think I will reach 100. For this government to clear this debt when there is a figure of 10.8 trillion. And this is money owed to people. I am giving you figures of money borrowed for these sectors of 4.8 trillion, 2020, 2021, in Ruwero of Tarangu, for which we borrowed 44 billion. From OPEC in 2018. You can imagine, implemented. Because the point we make of the resilient communities, look, here we are paying 434 billion annually in commitment fees on money we are not using. The reason we delay to utilize loans is because of undesigned projects, so they urge. And we provide a table here for you to see it. So the requirement is that we'll keep paying fees, and we keep paying the fees, but the money is not utilized. The Auditor General quotes a lower figure of
Thank you, Coach Bob. The law will see off the president, but as we continue, thank you so much, Mr. President, for giving us your time. Honorable members,
ahead to build a Uganda where leaders lead with integrity, where leaders are true servants and citizens are the true masters of their destiny. So let us use this resource that we have to put an end to this dictatorship. Let us use this resource to change this country once and for all. I thank you for listening to me, for God and my country. The only way this is going to be possible. So I continue to encourage all of us here present and those watching us outside that we must do what we must do. You cannot take a step unless you unlock your feet. So for now, what we have as a great resource is our collective determination and collective will to have a free country. And after having that, then we shall go ahead to build a Uganda where all Ugandans are equal, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of where they come from, regardless of religion, tribe, or social class. We must channel all our energy. We must channel all our passion and all our abilities and all our determination towards one singular mission: removing the dictator and reorganizing the country as the citizens of Uganda. These cronies live in extreme luxury while our hospitals are sick and our schools are rotting away. Yes, we have alternative policies. Yes, we have brilliant minds here in Parliament, you know, wonderful at economics, wonderful at debating and all that. But we shall debate, we shall propose, and we shall articulate issues. But let me be clear to you, once again, my brothers and sisters, that no matter how good our alternatives are, no matter how well-intentioned you, our MPs, are, it won't make any difference for as long as we don't have any power to implement those good ideas. We must get used to that fact and deal with that fact exactly the way it is. God. Friends, many good proposals have been presented in terms of policy alternatives, in terms of laws, by ourselves and other leaders. But let us be honest, no matter how good our thoughts are, no matter how beautiful our proposals are, they shall never see the light of the day for as long as dictator Museveni is still in charge of this country. That is my firm belief. Yes, we must continue telling Ugandans the truth as it is, instead of, misleading them with eloquent speeches. We must paint to them a picture of the problem and indeed go ahead and point at where the problem is. The man who has ruled our country for almost 40 years now is not just a political opponent to us, no. He is the embodiment of Uganda's problems. He's a living testament of corruption. He's a testament of oppression. He is the embodiment of the abuse of all democratic principles. In a nutshell, he is the roadblock, he is the stumbling block between Uganda and its progress. So let us face the reality and deal with the reality as it is. It's until you diagnose the problem that you'll be able to deal with that problem.
I know that corruption is a cancer that has bedeviled our country. Thank you.
Maybe lastly, when Mpuuga says you are under siege, I don't know how to. What's your take on this statement?
Well, we major on majors and minor on minors. Thank you. In a country where the leadership thinks, or the rulership thinks, that when somebody commits a crime, you have to negotiate their release. If somebody commits a crime, then let the evidence be presented, let them be presented in a competent court, and let them be either convicted or acquitted. We are not going to negotiate our rights. We believe in the rule of law. If there is the rule of law in Uganda, let it work. If the courts function in Uganda, let them work. Our brothers and sisters who are in prison for the longest time, the political prisoners, are innocent, and we continue to demand their unconditional release. We are not going to negotiate, because if you ask us to negotiate, what do you want us to give in exchange for our freedom? Bobo yagala tuteesaganye n'omuntu ng'akutte baganda baffe nga tebalina musango, oyagala ffe tumuwe ki atuwe baganda baffe? Kubanga kibamba sibira dembe lyabwe, ate eddembe lyabwe eryo si beetegefu ddiwaayo, ne bwe banaateebwa bajja kusigala nga bayanira eddembe lyabwe. So siri akuteesaako, naye lyabwe ebange kuba constitution erigaranti.
How far have you gone regarding that issue to Commissioner Patterson?
Well, everything we do it in the open. We are a transparent political party. And what happened was in public. The information came from the public domain, and we dealt with it as our morality levels permit.
But the Speaker responded. What's your take on the Speaker's statement?
The Speaker is a criminal herself. The Speaker is a criminal, so we don't really have time to exchange with criminals. Thank you very much. The so-called internal conflicts are a creation of the media. As you have seen, so many TVs have been on rampage trying to create. Kyanaku nnyo okubeera mu nsi nga tulowooza nti wabaawo obumenyi bw'amateeka olina kuteesa n'amenya amateeka. Wabaawo obumenyi bw'amateeka nga waliwo evidence obujulizi obumulumika, then amateeka gakole. Mugamba nti omuntu bw'aba amenya etteeka bateesaganye naye, then tugyewo amateeka bibeere byakuteesaganya. Baganda baffe abaasibwa mu makomera tebalina musango, n'olw'ensonga eyo balina okuyimbulwa embagirawo awatali kakwakulizo, kuba tebalina musango. Bwe baba balina omusango baleetebwe mu kooti bavunaanibwe, omusango gubake mu vi oba bagusinge bejjeerere. So si kuteesaganya nabo. Eyo enkola ya kiyekera, tetukkiriziganya nayo, tukkiriziganya mu nfuga ey'amateeka, era bwe tunatwala obuyinza y'enfuga gye tujja okutambulirako. Luba lutalo. okola ekituufu we luba lutalo then tuli mu lutalo era tulina okubeera mu lutalo nga tulwanyisa enguzi nga tulwanyisa obulyake nga tulwanyisa obwannakyemalira luba lutalo. So si mu kibiina kyaffe, nze ndowooza mu kibiina kyaffe twandibadde nga ekyokulabirako buli muntu kabeere nga sipiika wa paliamenti yalidde enguzi, kabeere nga minisita n'akangavulwa nga bwe kirina okubeera. Ffe nga NUP tuba wa kyakulabirako, tuli option era mu Uganda empya bwe tubikola bwe tujja obikola nga tumaze okugoba nakyemalira. Saagala nnyo kukendeeza kwogera kwange kukukakanya ate kussa ku bammemba bange benkulembera mu kibiina. Njagala nnyo njogere ku nsonga ezigasa eggwanga lyonna. Kati bajeti eno si ya NUP yokka wabula ereflectinga ekifaananyi kya opposition yonna. So saagala ensonga za NUP ate nziyingize mu bibiina ebirala. Njagala njogere ku kintu ekigasa eggwanga lyonna lyonna, si kibiina kyokka nga NUP. Etali nnene nnyo naye ate ng'efokasinga ku bintu ebiyamba abantu ng'egoberera n'omulamwa okusitula eddembe ly'abantu. Eddembe ly'abantu si kweyagala bweyagazi naye n'okwenjoyo oba okunyumirwa oba okweyagalira mu bintu ebyo byebasaanira okweyagalira mu mateeka. Naye okusingira ddala obubaka bwange wakati mu kubeebaza olw'okuvaayo ne bajeti eno ennungi n'ebirowoozo ebirungi, mbajjukiza abakulembeze baffe nti ebirowoozo ebirungi tujja nabyo bibadde nga bireetebwa, naye ekizibu kye tulina ebirowoozo bikoma kuleetebwa. Ekizibu ekisinga ekya Uganda ye nakyemalira Yoweri Museveni nga ye sente z'eggwanga zonna azimalira mu kwekumira mu buyinza, kukulirira abakulembeze bamwetolodde na kunyigiriza abantu. So ekizibu kye tulina okusooka okugyawo ye nakyemalira Museveni, then tubeere n'eddembe ebisaasanya sente za Uganda si mu kwejalabya naye mu kutereeza ebyo ebisaana okutaasa abantu ng'amasomero ng'amalwaliro n'ebirala bifaanana bwebiti. Well, saagala ensonga eno nene egireducinga ku muntu omu. Ensonga gye mbadde zikonyeeko ensonga y'enguzi ekutte ejjembe. Newankubadde omu ku ffe naye yalisanga mu nsonga eyo, naye abamukulira be basinga okulya enguzi, okugeza sipiika waffe wano, sipiika wa paliamenti ya Uganda ye nakinku mu kulya enguzi. Era ekyo kyetaaga okwogerwako, ensi n'ekimanya n'ensi nemukolinga out, kubanga sente ezoonoonebwa paliamenti eno zisobola okukyusa obulamu bw'abantu bungi nnyo. So obuli bw'enguzi ye kansa ayonoonye Uganda, kati kyafuuka institutional. Enguzi yafuuka ngeri yakwekumira mu buyinza na ngeri yakukakanya abavuganya gavumenti. So tujja kukozesa ebikolwa si bigambo bwe tulina obuyinza wonna okulwanyisa enguzi, naye twagala na buli kitongole kya gavumenti kikozesa obuyinza obwo okulwanyisa enguzi kuba enguzi
and point at where the problem is. The man who has ruled our country for almost 40 years now is not just a political opponent to us, no. He is the embodiment of Uganda's problems. He is a living testament of corruption. He is the testament of oppression. He is the embodiment of the abuse of all democratic principles. In a nutshell, he is the roadblock, he is the stumbling block between Uganda and its progress. So let us face the reality and deal with the reality as it is. It's until you diagnose the problem that you'll be able to deal with that problem. I mean, he and his cronies live in extreme luxury while our hospitals are sick and our schools are rotting away. Yes, we have alternative policies. Yes, we have brilliant minds here in Parliament, you know, wonderful at economics, wonderful at debating and all that. But we shall debate, we shall propose, and we shall articulate issues. But let me be clear to you, once again, my brothers and sisters, that no matter how good our alternatives are, no matter how well-intentioned you, our MPs, are, it won't make any difference for as long as we don't have any power to implement those good ideas. We must get used to that fact and deal with that fact exactly the way it is. I mean, we can draft the most comprehensive budgets, we can allocate funds meticulously, we can strategize endlessly, but as long as Museveni remains at the helm, the efforts will all be like rearranging cups on a falling table. We must channel all our energy. We must channel all our passion and all our abilities and all our determination towards one singular mission: removing the dictator and reorganizing the country as a citizen of Uganda. That is the only way this is going to be possible. So I continue to encourage all of us here present and those watching us outside that we must do what we must do. You cannot take a step unless you unlock your feet. So for now, what we have as a great resource is our collective determination and collective will to have a free country, and after having that, then we shall go ahead to build a Uganda where all Ugandans are equal regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of where they come from, regardless of religion, tribe or social class. We shall go ahead to build a Uganda where leaders lead this resource to change this country once and for all. I thank you for listening to me, for God and my country.
For his speech to us all, we believe we have taken in what we have been told. Now, allow me, honorable members, to invite Coach Bob to take us through a small session of stretching so we can move forward. Thank you so much.
May we stand up here, but keep the smiles. That's 2, 3, 4 for your health, 5 for your bread, 6 for your family, 8, 9, 10. Hands here. Straight, straight, straight. We go on the side. Follow fast. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All of us touch our feet. All of us touch our feet and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We look in our palms like this, straight. I'll be counting 1. Don't cheat yourself. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn around your bodies like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hands here. Bring them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Mu kibuga Kampala nange nga abakiikirira omubaka waabwe olw'ensonga nti abasuubuzi bamaze ebbanga ddene nga bakaaba olw'omusolo ogususse babateekako kye bayita e-tax ate nga e-tax eno bagiteekako ng'erimu excessive omusuubuzi n'abeera nga buli tiketi gy'afulumya nga alina ekintu ky'atunda alina okukisasulira omusolo ate ng'olumu ezo ssente z'asasula zimaliriza nga gulinganga ng'emagoba ge yandifunyeeko naye ate ekisinga okunyiriza ddala nti balina konteyina ezisukka mu 5 ezikyalemedde ku booda naye nga abasuubuzi basalawo bazizire olw'ensonga nti bo tebalina ssente zenkalakalya ze bamanyi nti zosobola okusuubulamu container omusobozi yali ng'asasula container milioni 10 oba 12 ng'omusolo omwezi oguddako naddayo ne bamugamba nti zigenze mu milioni 4 imagine ne bwobeera gwe so abasuubuzi balaba nti bagezaako okuba nti bagobebwa mu mulimu kyokka ng'ate informal sector eyo ekuŋŋaanya abantu bangi so n'olwekyo nange mbawagira okola nti ffenna twegattamu tugeze eddoboozi eramu kuba emisolo gisusse buli omu gye munyigiriza ate nga tulaba nti waliwo ne gye baagala emirala okuleeta mu pipeline babeere nga bagyongerako ate nga ne ssente zibbibwa bubbibwa. Kayanya kyekyo kyennyini nti revenue yo egamba nti amateeka gayitibwa dda mu parliament eziyise ne parliament eno kuba nti yayisaako amateeka agamu so ekiriwo kwe kuba nti parliament wamu ne executive balina okukolagana n'ebitongole ebirala bakkirize nti emisolo girina okugenda wansi. Revenue of course yeegamba nti ye tebigikwatako yeeteeka butesi mu nkola naye ffe tugamba Uganda Revenue Authority nti esobola okujja nekola ripooti mu parliament nti bweba eteeka emisolo gino mu nkola kigikaluubiriza olw'ensonga nti emisolo gisusse obungi giri double taxation triple taxation ekitakkirizibwa na mu mateeka so n'olwekyo ye time okubeera nga bali mu buvunaanyizibwa tuddayo ku drawing board ddala emisolo gino gibeere nga gitemebwa emisolo ginaleetebwa gisooka kusomesebwa abantu ate beebuuzibweko nga teginnaba kuleetebwa ate bwe gimala okusasulwa gikole services ze baagala okuba nga zikolebwa. Of course, it is the Parliament of Uganda and the executive and the other organs in charge of, tax collection that must work together to come and make these statements on the floor so that the taxes can be revised. Yeah, the situation in Kampala is a bit cumbersome because the traders have gone on strike and we are right behind them over excessive taxation. The business community is facing hurdles that when you, for example, go and, bring in a container of goods, you're supposed to pay over 400 million shillings. And previously, just in a few months, it was 100 million to 120 million. That is a bit excessive on their side. But also, there is a challenge of the e-tax that was introduced on every ticket that a business personnel prints out. They must pay a tax which is like a penalty, and that also makes it excessive. And they say that on this e-tax receipt, the tax has already been paid by the manufacturer, so they look at it as double and triple taxation. So we think that that is something that should be looked into and revised. There should be amendment of the law, first and foremost, to look into these taxes, to ban the illegality of double taxation and triple taxation because it is already not allowed. But also, we should fight corruption because most of the taxes are lost to corruption. Ekisooka okukolebwa kubeera nti basooka ne bakwata abazibba kuba tuwulira buli nnaku ssente z'omusolo zibbibwa kitegeeza nti ssente zennyingi ezibbwa zandibadde zirinako bye zikola so bwe tuseevinga ezo osanga kijja tutaasa okumanya nti tetwetaaga na kwongeza misolo kiteetaagisa.